So, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Sorry, reload, baby. He's got my back over there on Twitter. Nobody else did what he does. Thank you, Cyber Reload. You are a true friend indeed. You know,
Dabs 4 days.
We're getting burned up in the Clerb. We're getting burned up in the Clerb. We're all burned up in the Clerb. We're all burned
Nick
up
Brown.
in the Clerb. Nick.
Hey, brother.
Nick, what's up? I'm gonna tell Ice I'm live. Ice.
Dabs 4 days. Hidden derbs in the Clerbs.
Derb in the Clerb.
Nick
in the
Brown.
Ferm, getting her.
Late HT hashtag cheers.
Late night. Because we're all firm up in the Clerb. We're all firm up in the Clerb. Man, I've never casually drank before in my life. You know, it was always drink to get drunk and shit. Because alcohol doesn't agree with me. It just doesn't, man. You know, I'm not a drinker. I never really was. My friends got into it, you know, and when we were younger, we were too young to drink by law. We drank, you know, we got crazy. You know, I used to slug shit to prove, you know, that I had a
Mike Pasquarello.
Iceman, what's up, buddy?
Dabs 4 days.
I waited for you, bro.
And it really doesn't taste good at all whatsoever, haha.
You know, I agree. It doesn't taste good, but it's to get you, you know, wasted, and that's the point. And I've just never been a big fan of it. Tonight, I decided to drink a little bit, just a little. And when I did, I noticed I was one of the few people in the bar that was drinking alcohol. It's like it's becoming out of fashion. And that's good. That's a good thing. You know, I wouldn't have noticed it unless I was the odd man out, you know. But just the situation presented itself. It was a special set of circumstances. And since we're all firm up in the Clerb, I think what the heck? We're all firm up in the Clerb, right? Over here. We're all firm up in the Clerb. Anyhow, this dab is for Iceman, who guided me home on directing me towards my home from the Clerb tonight. He was on the phone with me while I was driving home. It's pretty cool. We were talking smack. Talking some smack. Talking about smack. Talking smack. But, you know, we're all firm up in the Clerb, so it's cool. It rides.
Nick Brown. Cannabis is taking over the good times.
Maybe
Mike
it is.
Pasquarello. Dabs up.
Soon,
Cheers.
my friendly friend. Oh, we never got higher than 3222. Look at that. We're still at 3222. Okay. Cool. So it leveled off. It planed off like I told you it does. It did the step. It's still.
Patrick John Welder.
DJ Dub.
Good evening, Nick.
DJ Dub.
Watching Ted 2 and forgot how funny it was.
Ted 2. I don't know what Ted 2 is. We're all firm up in the Clerb. We're all firm up in the Clerb. Oh boy, don't hate me for saying we're all firm up.
Dabs 4 days. The movie with the teddy bear and Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, Ted, right. You know what? I saw the first one. I don't think I saw the second one. I think that's how that went for me. But, you know, we're all firm up in the Clerb, so it don't matter.
Patrick John Welder. It's the movie about the talking teddy bear.
Yes, it is.
Dabs 4 days. Second one is hysterical.
Yeah, I should see it. Okay, guys. No law regarding cannabis. Cheers to Iceman. Dabs for days. Patrick John Welder. Sean Orca guy, I think, was here. Good night, Mom. Love you. Sean the Orca guy? No, he's not here. Okay, but everybody else. Cheers to
Mike
all of you.
Pasquarello. Cheers. Patrick John Welder. Nothing is funnier than a cannabis talking teddy bear LOL. Auto aim off. Cheers nay. No law regarding cannabis forever brother.
Auto aim off. That's I know who that is. Auto aim off is auto aim off. Who is that?
Nick Brown. Wish I had locals like you and Ice.
Dude. Oh my goodness. It was just nice. I was leaving my girlfriend's home tonight. Dropped her off.
Auto aim off.
Baba Fazar!
Baba Fazar.
Baba Fazar! Baba Fazar! Alright, cool. It's Baba Fazar. Auto aim off is Baba Fazar. And I had a couple drinks. Two tequila shots. And, you know, had them over a period of like an hour with dinner. I still noticed a slight level of impairment driving the car. It wasn't bad. It wasn't distracting me, but I noticed that I had to pay more attention to the road than normal. Just 2 shots. And I'm a big guy. I'm 200 pounds. Well, I'm not 200 pounds, but I'm close to 200. So, you know, a shot per 100 pound. You know, my girlfriend, she's tiny. Oh, that reminds me, I guess. And she can just, I don't know where it goes, man. She can just absorb it. She's just got that talent, man. You know? But we were goofballs and we danced. We had so much fun. Ice Man, I'm sending you a picture, son.
Nick Brown. Awesome man. Glad you had a eat time.
We're all Ferm, I'm in the Clerb.
Mike Pasquarello. Nice pick.
We're all Ferm, I'm in the Clerb. It's fun to say that. So we were rapping at the table, and I spun a little rhyme, and I totally blew my girlfriend away, and she laughed, and she was like, "Oh my God, that was so good." I was like, "Thank you, thank you." I like making her laugh. She laughs good. 3 people watching, it says. 2 people. How is that possible? Right? That's not possible, right? I just talked to how many of you? Nick Brown, Ice, Baba Fazar, Patrick John Welder, Dabs for Days. Are all 5 of you still
Dave
here?
Fishing.
Dave Kafishing.
Cheers.
Are all 6 of you still here? Let me get 6 ones in the chat from you guys right now. Give me a 1 in the chat. Give me a number 1 in the chat. There should be 6 ones in the chat.
Dabs 4 days.
Dabs for days.
Here.
Dave Kafishing.
Mike
Iceman.
Pasquarello. Yes.
1, 2, 3.
Dave Fishing. 1.
That's only 2 people.
Dabs 4 days. 1.
It's only 2 people. Everybody else left. No, 3 people. Dabs for days, Dave Kafishing, and Mike. 3 people. Now it says 2 people. What is going on? Nobody else can give me a 1. Well, so we lost. All right, so we lost Nick Brown, and we lost Patrick John Welder. Nick Brown and 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 Patrick John Welder. We lost them both. Huh. I guess we're not all Ferm up in the Clerb. I thought we were Ferm up in the Clerb. But Patrick John Welder and Nick Brown didn't agree. See, we totally called their asses out, guys. Do you see how I did that? That's called the process of elimination. Are you proud of me for figuring that one out?
Dave Fishing. Is that the portable AC?
No. No, it's not going to be here for probably a week or 2, I would think. Man, I was really upset about ordering a ladder. It was a $300 ladder, and the fucking transportation company that was bringing it to me, they couldn't get it through my guard gate. The guards wouldn't let them through. And I'm like, they didn't have my phone number. They had the wrong phone number for me. So they couldn't call me. I couldn't call them. I'd call them, but I couldn't get through. So I contacted the people I bought it from, and they contacted the shipper, and the shipper said, we couldn't get through the guard gate. And I told the purchased company to tell the shipper to use your ID, show your ID at the guard gate, and your company, your driver's company is now on the guard list. So just say the guard list, just say the company name, and they'll let you in. They said it's going to take at least 24 hours to reschedule your delivery. I'm like, whatever, man. You're a fucking delivery company, and it takes you 24 hours to fucking do something that you've already got the paperwork for? What is fucking wrong with you? Fucking idiots. Oh, we have to put the order in again. What? What does that even mean? What does that even mean you got to put the order in again? That doesn't make fucking sense to me. Making an infinite Lego domino
Dabs 4 days.
ring.
Wow, the guards wouldn't let you meet him at the gate.
No, the guards won't do shit. They just turn you away. Dude, this went up 4 hours ago. Police officer realizes there's a head in a bucket. I'll bite.
I opened the towel, I picked up the towel and dropped it, because I don't know what the f it is, man.
This is the moment counts.
Dude. What the fuck are we gonna watch right now? Oh my god. Dude, what I just saw. Here we go, folks. Listen. I'm sorry that there's only 3 of you here to watch this. This is gonna be some really good content.
Nick Brown. Here to stay.
Hell yeah, Nick. Nick, where were you, man? I was looking for you before. You guys, watch this.
I opened the towel, I picked up the towel and dropped it. I don't know what the f it is now.
This is the moment cops realized there was a head in the bucket at the crime scene. But little did they know, the entire case would only get more and more horrifying. On the 23rd of February 2023, police visited the apartment of a suspected killer, Taylor Shabiznes. This is where they would quickly find out
They found out her business real quick, didn't they?
that she's not only insane, but a complete psychopath.
Nothing. Hey, is this blood? Does this look like blood to you? Or am I just tripping? Could possibly be blood. Hey, who did that? Hi, Taylor. How's it going? Officer Russell with the Green Bay Police Department. Taylor, you have one more for your just put your hands together. You got it.
The cops were searching Taylor's property on a warrant and discovered bloody footprints next to her car and blood literally on her hands. But upon searching her apartment, they found the very thing they had been called to find in the first place: a human head in a bucket, first discovered by the victim's own mother. The police wasted no time in getting her into custody, where one of the most chilling interrogations of all time would begin.
Dude, I literally just got a chill down my spine. Did anybody else? It literally just went from the base of my neck all the way down to my lower back. It felt like an electric shock almost. It was that strong of a chill. Anybody else? Anybody? Hey, Ice. Yo, Iceman. Is the hair raised up on your arms, bro? Holy shit. Talk about a chill. No law regarding cannabis. Cheers, everybody. I'm going to do a bong rip to this shit. This is crazy shit. My bong rips make it better for all of us.
Boyfriend. Well, they found out certain stuff at the house there. Yeah. A lot of blood. Basically, Shad's head. Yeah. Pretty fucked up.
It's immediately obvious how stone-faced and cold Taylor is being. She's showing absolutely no emotion about anything, including the goriest details of the case. Only managing to mutter, "That's fucked up," in regards to the severed head. Often psychopaths like to talk up their own crimes as it gives them a sense of self-gratification, but we haven't even begun to see exactly how insane she is.
Where's the rest of this body?
It's there, inside the house.
It is in the house.
It's inside the house.
Can you tell me what happened?
It's a good question, because I blacked out during that time.
Were, you two being intimate, having sex?
It was getting there.
Just getting there, okay. So will this be considered foreplay?
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys done something like this in the past?
Not
Do you use manual strangulation during sex at all?
a manual strangulation, yes.
Taylor claims that she and Shad were being intimate that night and she'd used the dog chain to choke him. But apparently this wasn't unusual for them. But that evening she just didn't stop until he was almost dead. She also mentions that she'd been smoking meth that night, something that definitely could have contributed to the horrifying events that followed.
Where's your body?
The body there.
So we're gonna take the head somewhere?
I like that.
You liked it? So you dismembered the body too?
Yeah.
Well, what did you do with the body?
Dude, this cop is a goddamn superstar, man. He's a fucking rock star for
Creep in hell.
conducting
Hey,
this interview so professionally and matter-of-factly and not showing shock to get her to just out everything. This guy's a goddamn... He's a fucking magician, man. Look at the way he's just finessing her for every bit of information.
They're in the house.
Someone?
They're like,
He's just like he's like your fucking cool uncle that you have a problem and you're gonna come to and you're gonna work everything out. You know?
absolutely in the basement. I was gonna bring them. And then,
He's just there to help,
no,
man.
I got the head. I wanted the head.
Did you bring anything with you?
It's in the van.
What?
It's in the van.
It turns out that Taylor had not only choked out and beheaded Shad, but also dismembered multiple parts of his body and hidden them throughout the apartment. Just this thought alone is grim. But
No. If I'm dismembering somebody, if I'm gonna cut somebody's head off, I would do the same thing, man. Just storing shit around. I'm a hoarder. What can I say, man? Find cool ways to store your shit and fucking stash it all over my fucking house. Then I don't have to worry about other people finding it. You know, that makes total sense.
exactly
I get it.
how is another story entirely.
How did you dismember his body then?
Nice.
With what?
Nice.
Knives?
Knives. About 4 knives.
Kitchen.
Kitchen knives.
No. It was alright.
It was alright. Bread knife works good.
A bread knife works good.
Dude, a bread knife, bro.
I
Dude, if you don't know what a bread knife is, I learned this for the first time. My girlfriend showed me. I'm like, I hate fucking cutting a bagel because I'm worried I'm gonna cut myself. She's like, you gotta use a fucking bread knife. I'm like, really? She's like, yeah, you got one. She goes and shows me a fucking bread knife. I'm like, that's a vicious little bitch, isn't it? You know? That'll get the fucking job done. That it's a goddamn hacksaw. A bread knife is a hacksaw with a rounded tip, guys. It's a fucking hacksaw. So because it's got a rounded tip on it, you could fucking put pressure on it and go rah, 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 go right through something. She knows. She knows about the bread knife.
so like, yeah. I got lazy last night, so.
Once Shad was dead, Taylor sawed off his limbs with a blunt bread knife.
There it is.
And tossed each individual piece of his body into a black bag the police later found in the basement. But somehow, the most shocking part of all of this is how casually she's talking about it. It's almost as if she doesn't see anything wrong with what she's done.
Well, she's a psychotic killer. That's what they do. I mean, I don't find that part shocking at all. Yeah, I know people who are unstable, and you know, when they're looking at things or talking about things that you or I might find utterly shocking, to them it's just like talking about what they had for breakfast or how the sunrise looked this morning or the date they went out on last night. That casual, when you're talking about things that you would normally not talk about with other people. So I know people like that. So this to me isn't shocking at all. If they are going to go that far that they're going to take someone's life, they're completely out of touch with reality. And in order to do that, this is how you do it. In order to kill people, you disassociate. You know, this was not done out of rage. She had felt that she had a need to do the things that she was doing. It was a compulsion.
Ben Roach. Hello, Nick.
That's compulsive behavior. Hey, Ben Roach, what's up, brother? That's a compulsion, just like, you know, overeating or, you know, doing lines of cocaine or something you can't stop doing. Sex addict. You know, she's addicted to murder.
Psychopathic murderers often take pride in their work and enjoy the attention that it brings them. Ted Bundy, for example, was constantly delighted to speak to the press for likely the same
And she doesn't seem that way. She seems proud to tell this guy, but it doesn't seem like she's like, you know, wanting to go out public with it and shit.
reason Taylor is laughing about what she did. Narcissism. Taylor is saying that this was an accident, but the joy she's getting out of explaining every tiny detail to the detective implies that while she maybe didn't plan it, she certainly had no issues with what she did. For the next 5 minutes, Taylor describes how she cuddled with his body after killing him and how she used parts of his dismembered body, specifically his genitals.
Wow,
To
so
pick
let's
the
just
interview
stop.
back up as
Let's just stop here right now and just say this. This is adult content. This adult content is found on YouTube. My disclaimer is this: I'm sourcing out this content from YouTube. I know that it's over the top, but this is an over the top channel watched by adults, as it says in my my non-ability to make this available to children. So the disclaimer for YouTube is this is a YouTube video. It's already up. All right.
She continues to bluntly describe the chilling events of that night.
You do anything particular with the head or the body? What would you do with the blood wrapping up front?
It's still in there, still in the toilet. There's a shower in the basement. You go in the next side over and I just dumped it out. And there's probably still in there.
She dumped his blood out down the drain in the shower, I think she said.
Yeah, well, I drained his head. Well, like, after I started his blood, I put it in the bucket, but when there's still blood in this bucket because it's coming out of my head. Should have took the brains out, but I didn't do that. And then I looked.
So you cleaned his head in the shower and got the bucket. Oh.
Not only is Taylor comfortable with
Who can help?
dismembering and beheading
Wow.
her former lover, but it seems she was also fine with draining and washing his head, and possibly even removing his brain. It's unclear why she felt the need to do this right now, as things really aren't adding up. She had already discarded and hidden the rest of the body, so if she was attempting to hide it, then she would want to dispose of the head too. There is something much deeper at play here, and the detective is desperate to figure out what.
So when he put the chain around his neck, he thought that you guys are going to have kinky sex. You think that's what Chad was thinking, maybe? What were you thinking?
I was gonna do the same thing. You know, I was going in, and I did. And I went in. But then he was like, choke me. But he didn't really say it, so I'm like, he put it on his neck. I already know I'm gonna choke him. And I did.
But before you chain went around his neck, were you and Chad like kissing or any foreplay or anything?
No, we were chilling at home.
You just chilling. So all of a sudden the chain went around his neck?
Yeah.
How come? I'm just trying to get it.
He likes it.
Alright.
I was gonna walk him like a dog.
You know, and he wanted that?
I have no idea. What am I gonna do it anyway?
Okay. And you claim it was his idea?
No, it was his idea. It was all him.
Alright, so
How the fuck is this guy so comfortable to be able to sit with a human being that he knows is capable of just flying at him and trying to gouge his eyes out, or rip his fucking ears off, or bite his fucking mouth off, or grab his hand and just bite his pinky off? Why? How the fuck does this pig not be fucking scared of that shit? Would you guys sit and have an interview with a girl who told you she just did this to a man yesterday? Let me know in the chat. I'm here to help, folks.
So you're on the bed, the chain goes around his neck and you start choking him. And you just realize that he was gonna die or what?
I'm just like, shit. I think I went a little too far, because I was blacking out while I was doing it, right? And then I thought, and then like, I look at him, I'm like, shit, he's already crippled, and so I'm like, I don't know if he's fucking, is he good? But then like when I woke up, like, you know, like during the blackout, I'm like, shit. I didn't mean for all this to happen, and I'm like, I fucked up, I know I fucked up, and I'm like, shit. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's what happened.
This is the closest Taylor has come to remorse in the entire interrogation, but it's so...
It was shocking to hear her say that. Yeah, I'm sorry.
heavily undermined by everything else she said, it's impossible to believe she's being genuine. It's likely that she's only saying this because she knows that showing some remorse could help her defense and get her a lighter sentence. In fact, throughout the entire interrogation, It seems as though she's been attempting to do this very thing. Taylor's story is that she got home with Shad and almost immediately grabs the chain and started choking him. Then she suddenly blacked out, saw him dead in front of her, and despite not wanting him to be dead, didn't call an ambulance and instead dismembered him, played with his body, and then laughed about it with police. These don't sound like the actions of an innocent person, and the detectives don't think so either. The case was brought to trial almost immediately, where Taylor would continue to show just how insane she really is. Take a look at her demeanor as Shad's best friend testified in front of court.
When I got there, we were just chilling, chopping it up, like how we always do. And basically, I was like, Taylor was asking like, you wanna hang out with Shad? She was asking me like for consent to hang out with Shad, to bring him over, and I was like, yeah, that's fine, it's cool.
This behavior continued for the entire trial so far, as she smiled, smirked, and laughed her way through the whole thing. But it seems that this didn't give the jury a great impression of her, as she found out when the verdict was cast.
Hope she got the death penalty.
Okay. First verdict reads as follows. Only the jury find the defendant, Taylor Denise Shabiznis, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as charged in count 1 of the information. Dated this date.
It's
July
so
26th,
non-dramatic,
2023,
isn't it?
Signed by the foreperson.
Taylor Shabiznis was convicted of first-degree murder, mutilating a corpse, and sexual assault.
Hey, maybe she should have minded her own business. Boom, boom.
As of this video,
You're welcome. Hey, I just flew in and gosh, my arms are tired. Hey, I'm gonna be here all week, folks. In fact, I'm here forever. Look at me. I'm a bastion of society.
videos upload, she's
I don't know what that
awaiting her
means.
sentence, but is facing life in prison or even the death sentence.
I hope so.
If you enjoy true crime videos like this, make sure you're subscribed to see more.
Okay, make sure you guys check out Dr. Insanity on YouTube. There you go.
Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope you're having a lovely day. Today I'd like to talk about how the EPA just swiftly kicked John Deere in the nuts and really solidified one of the things I've been talking about in this channel when it comes to emissions and repairing farm equipment. I did a video a few months back where I was responding to somebody from the Far West Equipment Dealers Association that wrote a giant wall of text at the end of it that said that all this right to repair stuff is about misleading the public about the fact that farmers can't repair their equipment. They want access to control horsepower and emissions, which the federal government regulates to comply with safety and air quality. We suggest you do your research and learn more about the fines imposed by the EPA and all this other stuff. To which I responded with the actual law. I read the law, and when you read a law, it's actually very clear when it comes to emission standards.
Before the
And when you click
motor
over
law.
here, you will see one of my favorite statutes, where it says the administrator shall require manufacturers to promptly provide to any person engaged in the repairing or servicing of motor vehicles or motor vehicle engines, and the administer for use by any such persons with any and all information needed to make
Ben
use of
Roach.
the emission control diagnostic
Good day.
system prescribed under this subsection and such other information, including instructions for making emission-related diagnosis and repairs.
Later, Ben.
For anybody who may be curious how this relates to right to repair or whether they should be able to get access to it, read this particular clause. No such information may be withheld under Section 7542C of this title if that information is provided directly or indirectly by the manufacturer to franchise dealers or other persons engaged in the repair, diagnosing, or servicing of motor vehicles or motor vehicle engines. Such information shall also be available to the administrator, which makes it very, very clear when it comes to emissions. This is not an excuse to be able to not allow people to be able to repair their own tractors. Now, there is a little bit of ambiguity here because you'll hear this all the time: emissions, 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 emissions. We'd love to let people fix stuff, but the damn EPA won't let us. John Deere and their dealerships are pretending to care about emissions when the reality is they just don't want people who buy the tractors to be able to get access to what is necessary to be able to maintain them themselves. And the EPA just smacked this down today in the most beautiful fashion, and I must read it to you all. This is an article that comes from Progressive Farmer. It says, nothing in the Clean Air Act forbids farmers and independent repair shops from making emissions and other repairs to agricultural equipment. EPA Administrator Michael Regan said in a letter to the National Farmers Union on August 4th. Equipment manufacturers often say the Clean Air Act doesn't allow farmers and independent repair shops to repair emissions equipment, raising concerns about liability for improper or even potentially dangerous repairs. Regan went a step further in telling the group the Clean Air Act actually encourages such repairs. Crucially, the Clean Air Act makes no distinction between repair by a manufacturer versus another party, Regan said in the letter that was sent in response to a June 13th letter from NFU President Rob LaRue. The reason this is very important is because the code that I'm citing here is referring to motor vehicles. So there are people out there that were shills for John Deere that were saying, technically a tractor is not a motor vehicle. So I don't think that was what they were intending. But here the EPA head appears to be doubling down on what it says here regarding emission standards in the law and clarifying that this does indeed apply to tractors, which means you cannot withhold it. As it says here, no such information may be withheld. No such information may be withheld. As long as it's being made available to franchise dealers or other persons engaged in repair, they gotta make it available to you. Crucially, the Clean Air Act makes no distinction between a repair by the manufacturer versus another party, Regan said in a letter that was sent in response to a June 13th letter from NFU President Rob LaRue. Actions that qualify as repair or replacement are allowed under the Clean Air Act, regardless of who makes them. Moreover, nothing in the Clean Air Act or the EPA's regulations limit a manufacturer's ability to provide service, tools, and information to consumers and
Very interesting. Pledge your claim now. What?
Hey, Aaron here, and this is for Celsius creditors. It's a time-sensitive video. Take a look right here. It's to pledge your support as a Celsius creditor. Now, I think this is incredibly important. I'm sorry I didn't tell you about this earlier. I have been traveling a lot, but this is very important to do before this kind of timer runs out. So we have 13 hours as of me making this video. So what this is about is basically the Earn ad hoc, which I covered in a previous video. They had a couple complaints to the disclosure statement, and Simon summarizes them right here, and there's also some more information down here about each of the complaints. So I'll go over them very quickly, and then I want to walk you through how to pledge your support by completing this form. So right now is a critical time where we, the community, can have a voice in this process, because the disclosure statement that was presented is not great. So let me just cover some of the issues that the Earn ad hoc had. So lack of clarity about tax consequences. There's a lack of transparency about who is going to get the benefit when crypto goes up. That is super important, and the disclosure statement did not cover that. There's issues with the liquidation process, litigation recovery process. There's a lack of guaranteed board seats for Earn claimants, which makes no sense because Earn claimants are the majority of people in this case. There's a lack of detail about the methodology and calculation of the illiquid assets and the mining company, and this is really going to tie into how the NewCo is valued. There is lack of info about whether alternative wind down bids were presented and if they're better than the brick option, which is very, very expensive. There's a lack of clarity about how any excess recovered from the litigation will be distributed. These are all incredibly important things. And there's also a lack of detail about the $2 billion FTX claim, which is an enormous claim, and I personally would love to know more information about it. So what the Earn ad hoc did is they submitted this reservation of rights. And what that does is it allows them to, down the road, basically say we're not going to approve this disclosure statement. So what the Earn ad hoc said is that they fully reserve all of their rights to supplement this filing of the disclosure statement and to raise additional concerns regarding further amendments. So that is what Simon Dixon is trying to get support for, all of these issues that the disclosure statement did not cover. There is more information here about each one of the concerns that the Earn ad hoc had. You can click it and you can read a little bit more about it. But basically what I want to encourage you to do is to fill out this form and pledge your support. Now, what does pledging your support mean? It doesn't mean that you are voting for or against the plan. It doesn't even mean that you are voting for Simon Dixon. It just means that you are supporting right here, you are supporting these issues that the EARN ad hoc had, which I think was one of the best documents that was submitted to the court or to the docket, really going over some major issues. Again, who's going to get the increase in value when crypto moons? Is that going to come to us? These are a lot of questions that I've had and people have been asking me, and I've been like, honestly, I don't know. It may go to the freaking FTC. I don't really know at this point. So by submitting this document and by pledging your support, you are basically saying, hey, I have this amount of money as my Celsius claim, and I want my claim to support the initiative that the EARN ad hoc presented. So how do you submit this form? First, full legal name on your Celsius claim. You can log into your account and it'll have your entire name there. Also, your email associated with your Celsius network account. So next you want to enter the USD value of your Celsius claim. Now, how do you find your Celsius claim? They have a little how-to. Log into your Celsius app, note down the balance of each coin held in your account, and then multiply each coin balance by the price on the date of the bankruptcy shown in this chart below. I'll also include the link to the actual document if it's a little bit clearer for you to read in the description. And then you add up all of those coin amounts and then you submit it right here in this box. So let's say you open up your Celsius account, you have 0.04 Bitcoin, you have 5 Bitcoin Cash, let's say you have, I don't know,
said 5 in type 3.
48.7 ADA, you have 1,001 Doge, and then you have 12,000 USDC. So what you would do for Bitcoin is you would go to the chart on his website, or again, if this is too blurry, I'll include the link for you. You would go to Bitcoin, which is BTC right here. It's $19,881.
Dude, I had Bitcoin that was 19 that would be worth 29,000 today if this motherfucker hadn't stolen it from me.
19,880. So that would be 0.04
fucking cunt
times 19,880. Enter. That'd be $795. So then you do $795. Free Bitcoin Cash. You would go back to this page. So Bitcoin Cash would be right here. It's about $100.50. So going back to here, you do 3 times 150, and that would equal $301.50. $301.50. The price of ADA is 42 cents. So you can go here and do 48.7 times 0.42, and that would come out to $20.40. Taking a look at Dogecoin, it is at 6.1 cents, so 1,001 times 0.061. That comes out to $61. And then finally, USDC is just going to be the same in dollars because it is a stablecoin, so that would be $12,000. So then what you're going to do is add up all of these totals, $795, $301.50, $20.40, $61, and then add $12,000. So $795 plus $301.50 plus $20.40 plus 61 plus 12,000. That's going to equal $13,177.90. So 13,177.9. So then you will take this total amount, you will copy it, and head on over to Simon's page. And when you are filling out your form, you will enter that right here. Paste that in. Next to the type of claim, we have earn, loan. If you have earn and loan, or withhold, so you will choose there. Whether you are willing to support your info to the earn or loan ad hoc, so that is up to you. Next, represent my claim to support the initiative. That answer is going to be yes, at least for me it would be yes, and that's why we're doing this. So yes, I prefer a reorg or orderly wind down. That is up to you. A lot of you guys have been watching my videos and you already have strong opinions on one or the other. That's your call. I'm not going to tell you what to do there. And then what country you live in, there is a drop-down menu, so pick your country. And then go ahead and click submit, and you are consenting to be added to Simon's email list, but only specifically for Celsius creditors. Now, Simon does not spam. I have been on his Bank to the Future email list since the summer of 2021. and he's only sent me relevant emails to Bank to the Future, so do not worry about that. Then you'll click submit and you are good to go. So that is it, guys. I just want to get this video out in time for you to pledge your support. So literally, if you haven't done it yet, I suggest, or at least what I'm doing, is pausing the video and go ahead and do this and submit your support here, because really we want all of these things that the Earn Ad Hoc said were issues. And after you submit your report, you can go ahead and read a little bit more about all of them, basically more information about the issues that the Earn Ad
Ten hours left.
You're live.
Hey everybody, Simon Dixon here, and I'm going to be going through some slides. So I'm doing this on Twitter Spaces at the same time as YouTube, but if you want to see the visuals, I got some visuals that I'll be going through on YouTube. So feel free to join me at Simon Dixon, wherever you are maybe. This might be on LinkedIn, it might be on Twitter, it might be Twitter Spaces, it might be YouTube, wherever you are. We want to be where you are, right? Okay, so we've got some really, really critical moment in the Celsius Chapter 11 case, and we are hitting that point right now where it is your turn to be involved, because now we need you in order to get this in the right direction, because there are three really important things that we need to get over the finish line, and I'd like to share with you from my experience of working with people that are trying to put in competitive bids, the current sponsors, the different ad hoc groups, the different groups of creditors, the different areas. I'd like to share with you some really important stuff in a message that I would like to try and get everybody to unify in a better way as a result of everything that hit the docket last night. So I'm going to do a few things. Firstly, I'm going to share with you where I think the game goes from here, what the next steps are, what the most important things are, and what I think are the most important things in order for creditors to get the optimized outcome for all parties. I'm also going to be going through, some of the different tweaks that I would like to see, and also a request for you to pledge your claim in support if you agree with some of the things that I'm sharing with you today. So we're going to jump straight into the slides, and then, as usual, we're going to do the Twitter space afterwards. I just want to share in general, before I pull up the first slide, we are now at the critical moment where we know what the future could look like for Celsius creditors, and we also know what it could look like if it all goes wrong. And I'd like to share my opinions, but none of this is obviously financial advice, legal advice, or tax advice, but there are critical decisions that affect the financials, that affect the legal side of this, and affect the tax side. And I'd like to share some of those so that
Thank you, Jake. What's up, buddy?
Can now use your claim and voting power in order for us to get the best result that we possibly want. And I'm not talking about one particular party in the Celsius Chapter 11 claim getting what they want at the expense of someone else. I'm talking about, let's set up the game so that there is a completely fair structure. And I'd like to share with you how I think that can happen. And I'd also like to tell you that the progress that we have made right now is somewhat of a miracle. We still have the potential to make this the best recovery of all the chapter
He has
11s,
disturbingly small
but we
hands.
can also epically fail if we get some of these decisions wrong. And I'd like to make sure that we did it and got that structure right. Okay. So I am really, really happy with where we are right now, but I'm also working tirelessly and relentlessly in order to make the tweets that
That's
I
really
believe,
creepy.
or tweaks that I believe will make all that difference.
He's got little
and I'd
tiny
like to share
hands.
with you, as usual, transparently, everything I can
Little
share
dainty-
with you so that you can decide
dainty paws.
what the next right move is for you.
Dainty
Okay.
paws.
So I'm going to jump over
Simon's
to the
got
slide
dainty
presentation
paws.
right now. And I'd like to share with you exactly where we are in the process. We are set to be out this year as long as we stick to certain deadlines and probably miss a few of them for very, very good and important reasons. So the very first thing is the disclosure statement is out. I've read all 600 pages of the original one plus the markdown one. So there's a lot in there. I can't remember everything, but I've been through it. We have a foundation and a structure. Now, the best thing is that we submitted the disclosure statement. So the debtor, Celsius, submitted the disclosure statement in consultation with the UCC, and that was catalyzed by the negotiations between the earn ad hoc and the borrower ad hoc. And now we're at the next stage of that right now. So the docket was really busy last night for a few reasons. As I said, I'm going to be sharing my perspective as one of the top 10 creditors. From what I would like to see happen and what I think is needed to drive a recovery. But none of this should be treated as legal advice. None of this should be treated as financial advice or tax advice, because the decisions that you make will impact all of those. And the problem is that all those decisions are being made for us right now, and I would like to make a few tweaks. So if you haven't watched previous videos, you can see there, this was the exiting Celsius now. This is where I went through some of the adjustments in the model and the numbers. I went deep dive into all the numbers that make up the plan. Now, as a result of releasing that video, I noticed in the final disclosure statement, many of the little things were broken down and made a lot clearer, and the numbers were clarified. We still have some tweaks to those numbers that we're not sure about, and they make a huge difference in terms of how the decision-making could be in this process. So I'll share some of those. Now, I'm not going to go deep into the model. Our investment banking team at Bank to the Future have gone through that, and I'll probably share that in another YouTube video once I've given a chance to see if some of these changes are made. We can go through deep into that, but have it be understood that the numbers that you see in front of you on the disclosure statement are pretty telling around a direction that certain parties want this to go. And I'm not here to judge any one party. I'm not here to say the UCC's got this agenda, or the Celsius has got this agenda, or the earn ad hoc has got this agenda, or the loan ad hoc has got this agenda. I'm wanting to set up a game whereby we can engage in the right decisions together, because it's not currently going to be done that way. Right, so the video exiting Celsius now went through all the numbers prior to the disclosure statement. You're welcome to go back on that. I also had a video, my last live, went through the Celsius borrowers and earned settlement explained. Now that has led to several objections to the disclosure statement, and I'll make sure you're up to date with all of those right now and what they mean for you, your recovery, and how.
I'm sorry you guys find this boring. This is about the company that ripped me off $100,000. It means a lot to me. And I'm sorry that it doesn't mean a lot to my audience enough for you guys to even make a comment or anything right now, man. But everybody's just leaving, so I'm just going to shut my show off. I'll watch this by myself. I would have spent time with you guys, sat here and smoked with you and watched this video. But it's a complete lack of engagement. Nobody has said anything in my chat since, aside from Jake's snake, let's just say, fucking 20 minutes ago. So, I try to be here for y'all, man. You guys need to be here for me, man. And that goes for double, triple, quadruple for the people who aren't logged in right now. That should be. Alright. Try to do a fun late night show for you, but people don't want to fucking play ball. So you guys have a nice evening. I had a great evening. I had a fantastic evening, actually. It was a perfect evening. But I tried to share some of that with y'all, but y'all don't want it. Whatever. You don't want to watch this with me or whatever. I wasn't gonna watch the whole fucking video, but I ain't got time for this non-participation shit, guys. So I'll see you tomorrow.